What I've tried to do when joining a company is, and this won't come as a surprise at this point, is really dig in and try and understand the business from the ground up. And so, what I will do is I will jump in and I will trace something back all the way to the source to understand how it works. And what I've done when I've joined each of these three companies is I've done this from day one. It's part of the reason why I don't believe very strongly in 90-day plans, because I think in the first 90 days, you're still figuring out the business and it's hard to jump in and say, this is what we're now going to go do. What I did at one of the companies I joined is I spent the first 3 months getting into the business, and I used that to then present to the board. Here's what I've learned. Here's my view of the business. And in doing that, I turned upside down a little bit the way that the company had reported previously. And, I said, I think we've been focused on the following set of metrics looking a certain way. I want to turn it around a little bit. And the way I turned it around was to look much more at the unit economics of things. So when you look in an aggregate, you start looking at things like growth rates and margin profiles and the rest of it. When you flip to looking at it in unit economics, you start to think more about, what is the transaction that we're facilitating? Where is the value creation moment happening? And what are we doing in terms of realizing value in that moment? And what we found was that the business was actually performing differently than we had all thought it was. And what it allowed us to do was say, aha, we've been making certain decisions on a set of assumptions about the way that we've been looking at the numbers, but we're now realizing that if you turn them around, we could end up making different decisions. And I think that was an important one for me, because what it allowed me to do is it allowed me to take a business and it allowed me to help people see it differently, to make decisions differently. And in keeping with the theme of our discussion, that allowed me to feel like I'd figure something out and had an impact. And for me, it was incredibly powerful to see how we used it from there to help the business do some things differently than it had done in the past in a very positive way. One of the things I'm challenging myself to do is stay away from buzzwords and jargon. I think it's a crutch that a lot of us use. And so let me try and describe what we do. And I love going back to the beginning. So Typeform is about 12 years old as a company. And what Typeform started, where it started was a company asked our two co-founders, who are two designers, to build them a beautiful and a different kind of survey to collect customer feedback. And our two co-founders, being designers, really focused on the design element, not just for the creator of that feedback form, but also for the respondent. So I'm sure many folks who are listening to this have used Typeform, whether they know or not. Typeform is a conversational tool for collecting data. So you can think forms, you can think surveys, you can think customer acquisition, you can think feedback, employee engagement. You can do so many different things with this tool. And really what it is it's an easy way for someone to be able to create a form. It's a low-code tool, and it's a way that you can create it in a conversational manner. So you'll see if you've used it or you're familiar with it, you typically will enter your name, and then the tool will refer to you as you go through it. So for me, they would say, hey, can you tell us your name? I would write in Michael. It would say, Michael, thanks for taking our survey. There are just a few things we'd like to know, and we go from there. And it's always been very design focused. It's always been for companies who really want to give the respondent, the customer, their employee, whoever it is, that best possible experience. And it's been a fun one for me to learn about, because I think what you find is creators of these forms love the tool. It's easy to use. It's intuitive. They can be up and running in minutes. Respondents love this tool because it feels like they're having a conversation. It feels like a personalized interaction that they're getting with the company. And one of the things that drew me to Typeform is I found there are very few companies, particularly in this B2B SaaS space, where people love the product. And what's interesting, I'm just starting to get some of my swag now, but when I've stood next to a few people who have their Typeform shirts, people will come up to them and say, oh, do you work at that company? I love Typeform. And I think that's a really special thing about what we do. And I can talk more about the business itself, but it's this really special tool that's allowed businesses and their customers to have some terrific conversations over the past 12 years.
This podcast is made possible by Ledge.